Hello, everyone. We are going to touch base on Anna Garcia. I found this nifty slide show. I don't know, it's not quite a slideshow, but it's an infographic on everything that we have learned about Anna so far. We're going to touch base on cholesterol. I have uploaded a very short YouTube video on LDL and HDL cholesterol and the balance of cholesterol and why exactly that's important. And remember, LDL is bad, HDL is good. Right? And I also will be uploading copies of the medical documents that I will show you briefly within this video. Look over those at your leisure, but make sure you look over those before our next Zoom class on Monday or Tuesday so we can discuss any kind of hypotheses that you guys have come up with after we review the heart. So, Anna, here we go. We found her. She's 30-year-old ex-husband. I know some of you think he did it, but no. So then we've got Erica, who was Alex's new wife. We've got Lucy, who was the best friend, baker at the bakery. They were arguing a bit, if we remember. I mean, I know this was all on our whiteboard in the back of class. And then there was Doug Green, who was recently in the relationship with Anna, and then he was the next door neighbor who didn't see her that morning, and that's why the police were called for a well check, and they found Anna dead inside her home. And of course, there's Alex Garcia. He was having financial issues, and he was at her house the night before discussing paperwork. Don't know what the paperwork was, but his fingerprint was found at the crime scene. Now, evidence at the crime scene, we've gone over this. The unknown pill was acetylsalicylic acid, right? You guys all discovered that during one of your labs. Same with the fingerprint. It was an unidentified that was Alex's. There was blood and blood spatter, but we confirmed that it was Anna's during our DNA fingerprinting, the gel electrophoresis. The hair was also found at Anna's. The muddy shoe print we identified was also Anna's. We also calculated her time of death from body temperature, that she died approximately at 7 a.m. So we've gone through a lot of these autopsy reports and food diaries and such. There, of course, are in your folders, which unfortunately you don't have. I have loaded autopsy 4.1.2 into the Google Classroom. This talks about her undiagnosed mild mitral valve prolapse. She also mentions the glucose levels, which we've kind of talked about before because of her diet. If you remember back when we were discussing the foods that we found in her stomach. I also will load 4.2.1, her medical history, that shows that she had a history of family disease. And if you remember when we talked about heart conditions last week, we discussed if we had anyone in our family with a heart condition or heart disease, or if we knew anybody close to us that did. Like I said, I have hypertension. My father has hypertension. Mine, of course, developed right after I gave birth to Greer. But it's just something that you need to keep in mind, especially with familial medical histories, things like that. And then I've loaded 4.3.1 also onto the Google Classroom. So you can take a look at this. This is her patient medical history. It goes over how she did used to drink, she used to be an athlete, and she had a family history of heart disease. She had slight heart murmur, talks about her premature ventricular contractions. So you can read through these to help you with your hypothesis on how you think her heart condition might have led to her death, or how it might have aggravated her death. Again, think about genetics that might play. Think about her diet that is in there. We know that she didn't necessarily eat the best, especially with her diabetes. So keep all of that in mind, because you guys are going to come up with a hypothesis after you review all of these documents of what you might think happened. And here's the autopsy report that talks about she didn't have any alcohol in the blood. Gives you an x-ray for you guys to review, and goes on to talk about vascular disease that she might have had in her left leg. So I want you guys to review these documents. And here is the last one, her medical history. Okay. And here's her cholesterol panel. And think about cholesterol also. Is it genetic? Could she have possibly had a genetic predisposition to having high cholesterol? Again, think about your own families. I have high cholesterol. It is genetic. So just be made aware that you can add those things into your hypothesis. Go back to there, and I will try to add a couple more of these autopsy reports because you do not have access to those. Actually, what I will do is I will give you the link to this bulletin board, and you can take a look at any of the autopsy reports that you want to take a look at. They're all in here. But I have loaded section 4, unit 4, over the heart for you guys to take a look at. Now, if you remember, cholesterol, we talked about the heart. Cholesterol is what was next. So if we go here, and there you go. So treatments for high cholesterol, you need to think about these things, not necessarily you guys, but in general, as you get older. You want to raise your HDL, remember, that's the good cholesterol, by exercising, avoiding trans fats, limiting alcohol, which is not an issue for this class, and eat a Mediterranean diet is what they suggest. You want to be conscientious of exactly how many carbs you're taking in, those kind of things. And you want to lower your LDL. If you have high cholesterol, you can take a statin, which is a prescribed drug. And here, this is, well, you can zoom in on this. It's loaded also into your Google Classroom. So for right now, what you guys will be doing is reviewing Unit 4, medical histories and autopsy report. And if you need to change your hypothesis, give me a new hypothesis on what you think might have happened to Anna. Basically update what you think has happened to her. If you still think that the ex-husband did it, that's fine. But think of all the things that we just discovered new about her heart, and what that might have led, if anything, might have led to her death, and how her high cholesterol might have led to her death. You will get more information after you watch the short YouTube video on the cholesterol and how that might have actually contributed to her demise. Other than that, I will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Alrighty.